greed,
This is a case of America's largest corporate bankruptcy.
deception,
This is one of the biggest fraud cases ever.
a house of cards built on lies.
A house of cards.
Had been built over a pool of gasoline.
Is it really the time to start auditing the auditors?
Back in 2001, Enron was an unstoppable force.
Ken Lay started Enron in 1985 as a regional pipeline operation.
One of the largest energy companies in the US.
The company's revenue exploded from $5 billion a year to $200 billion a year with 20,000 employees globally. It became the 7th largest company in the country.
Darling of Wall Street.
Enron is a company that deals with everyone with absolute integrity. We're creating whole new businesses, in some ways even whole new industries.
Enron transformed. It was no longer just a gas company.
He turned it into a trading energy company, buying and selling electricity and natural gas.
An empire of innovation and soaring stock prices.
When you work for Enron, you're going to see the newest thinking. You're going to see the newest products, the newest services. You're going to see the newest markets opening up, the newest ways of thinking about things.
Enron was just recently chosen again for the 6th year in a row in the Most Admired Company survey by Fortune magazine as the most innovative company in America. Well deserved, well deserved.
Enron posted a 30% jump in second quarter profits as web-based trading boosted its wholesale energy business.
It became an energy trading behemoth, a star of the stock market.
But behind the numbers was a financial illusion.
Enron filed for bankruptcy December the 2nd, 2001.
Enron was the blueprint for large corporations. Annual revenue of $100 billion. But by the end of the year, the company had garnered the title of biggest bankruptcy of all time.
Enron's management played a dangerous game with their financial statements. They recognized tomorrow's revenues today, and this inflated revenues so that they could paint a rosy picture for investors.
The leaders at Enron, driven by greed and a relentless pursuit of personal wealth, continued to deceive investors and employees.
They used mark-to-market accounting, an aggressive technique that let them book profits today on deals that would never make a dime.
We're going to move from mark-to-market accounting to something I call HFV, hypothetical future value.
They could bury debt, they could bury losses.
An industry that was very reliable for 100 years was all of a sudden turned into a casino.
And then came the biggest deception of all. Enron had massive debt.
In the process, billions of dollars in debt was kept off the company books, and profits were falsely inflated. Enron filed for bankruptcy.
But do investors like debt? They don't. So what did Enron do? They hid that debt in special purpose vehicles, SPVs, which were designed to move the debt off the balance sheet, making Enron's finances look great.
It had taken Enron 16 years to go from about 10 billion of assets to 65 billion of assets. It took them 24 days to go bankrupt.
On paper, Enron was thriving. In reality, it was drowning. And when the truth came out, the collapse was swift and brutal. Enron was forced to file for bankruptcy.
This is the shredded evidence that we got that came out of Enron.
The company's stock price hit rock bottom at just 26 cents a share, down from $80 back in February.
20,000 people ultimately lost their jobs.
Fired employees lost billions in retirement and pension funds.
Investors worldwide lost confidence.
But the fallout didn't stop there. Enron's auditors, Andersen, were one of the big five back then when there were 5 major accounting firms, not 4.
Arthur Andersen, one of the Big Five, suffered a similar fate for their part in the scandal.
Arthur Andersen had given Enron a clean, unqualified opinion on their financial statements, signing off on that fraud. When the scandal broke, the world wanted answers. How did the auditors miss this? Or worse, did they look the other way?
Accounting firm Arthur Andersen had begun destroying its Enron files. Andersen shredded more than 1 ton of paper.
The backlash was unforgiving. Arthur Andersen was asked to surrender its CPA license in the US, and that's when the Big Five became the Big Four.
Enron's accounting firm, Arthur Andersen, was convicted of obstructing justice. With its reputation for honesty destroyed, America's oldest accounting firm fell along with Enron, and 29,000 people lost their jobs.
Enron collapsed. Arthur Andersen shut down, and there was absolute investor panic.
Enron shareholders are suing Enron and its banks for $20 billion.
And in the wake of this crisis, the US Congress enacted the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, or as we call it, SOX.
To rebuild the integrity of corporate America and safeguard the interests of investors, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act was signed into law by President George W. Bush on July 30th, 2002.
Many provisions of SOX were lessons that the US senators learned from the Enron fiasco. Let's say during investigations, when Enron's CEO was asked that how did the fraud happen? Did Enron not have internal controls? His response, I was the CEO of this company. How should I know about internal controls? That's not my job.
Very, very specific questions about accounting treatment on things. I am not an accountant, and I could not answer them. And I can't get into the details, and I'm not an accountant.
Congress made sure it became his job.
Enron CEO Jeffrey Skilling served 14 years in prison.
SOX made it clear, management isn't just responsible for the numbers, they are also responsible for their internal controls. SOX also created the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, the PCAOB, to regulate the auditors of public companies or issuers. And after SOX, audits changed forever. Today, auditors of issuers don't just audit the financial statements, they audit internal controls as well. So it's 2 audits, 2 opinions, but 1 integrated audit. Remember, auditors are the line between order and chaos, between confidence and collapse. Because when audits fail, markets tremble, companies fall, economies suffer. Enron was a warning, SOX is a safeguard, and auditors are the guardians of financial integrity and public interest. We are here to uphold transparency, to protect investors, and to secure the future of capitalism.